In a move that has both stunned and clarified the swirling rumors for her legion of fans, Taylor Swift is finally setting the record straight, officially revealing her reasons for declining the coveted 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. The global superstar, whose current Eras tour is already a record-shattering, monumental undertaking, cited the sheer logistical impossibility of orchestrating such a complex, large-scale production on the heels of her international tour schedule, which is meticulously planned down to the last second. Furthermore, insiders suggest that Swift, a masterful storyteller who values artistic integrity above all, expressed a desire for the performance to be a unique, standalone spectacle rather than a compressed, 12-minute medley, feeling that such a format would not allow her to do her expansive discography justice or provide the nuanced, narrative-driven experience her fans have come to expect. This decisive clarification puts to rest the fervent speculation, confirming that while the NFL's biggest stage will have to wait, Swift's primary commitment remains to delivering the exhaustive and awe-inspiring show she has promised on her own terms across the globe. In a revealing, off-the-cuff moment on The Tonight Show that swiftly eclipsed her official promotional agenda, Taylor Swift finally set the record straight on why she turned down the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show, offering a surprisingly personal and detailed explanation to host Jimmy Fallon. After immediately shutting down the rumor with a firm no, she described a candid conversation with Jay-Z, whose Rock Nation oversees the show, where she was able to be completely honest, telling him, "I am in love with a guy who does that sport on that actual field." She went on to vividly articulate the nerve-wracking reality of watching her fiancé, Travis Kelce, play, calling football violent chess and gladiators without swords. She painted a picture of her unwavering focus during his season, entirely locked in on what that man is doing on the field. The idea of then centering herself on that same stage felt profoundly dissonant to her. She imagined the absurdity of Kelce putting his life on the line in such a dangerous, high-pressure, high-intensity sport while she, in the same building, would be preoccupied with questions like, "I wonder what my choreo should be. I think we should do 2 verses of Shake It Off into blank space into Cruel Summer would be great." For Swift, the roles of the supportive partner and the global pop performer were irreconcilable on that particular field, making her decision not just an artistic choice, but a deeply personal one rooted in love and respect for her future husband's own high-stakes career. Taylor Swift's highly anticipated return to The Tonight Show, her first since the Midnight's era in 2022, became a masterclass in myth-busting, as the pop superstar took control of the narrative surrounding 2 major viral rumors in a single, candid, off-air segment. First, she definitively shut down the feverish speculation that she would headline the 2026 Super Bowl, a theory born from her cryptic bread joke and fueled by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell's own teasing, by offering a firm no and a deeply personal explanation involving a conversation with Jay-Z and her unwavering, locked-in support for her fiancé Travis Kelce's dangerous career on the very field in question. Immediately following this, she addressed a separate piece of tabloid fodder, that she had competitively teased Selena Gomez at her recent wedding by saying, "Hey, you beat me to the altar," with another resounding no. Instead, Swift replaced the fabricated drama with a heartfelt tribute, gushing, "I got to see her be the most elegant, gorgeous, not only bride but just vision that I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen anything so beautiful as her on her wedding day." In one fell swoop, Swift transformed a potential promotional appearance into a powerful statement, reclaiming her story by replacing salacious gossip with the twin pillars of fierce loyalty to her partner and genuine, public admiration for her closest friend. Swift immediately shut down the swirling speculation with a firm and definitive no, leaving no room for ambiguity. However, rather than leaving it at a simple denial, she launched into a surprisingly detailed explanation that peeled back the curtain on the complex, high-stakes machinery of the Super Bowl selection process. Her reasoning, she clarified, was not a reflection on the event itself but a strategic career choice, one that even involved a conversation with the iconic Jay-Z. With his company, Rock Nation, having overseen the halftime show's talent selection and production since 2019, the hip-hop mogul had personally reached out to gauge her interest. Swift elaborated that while she deeply respected Jay-Z and the unparalleled platform he and the NFL were offering, the immense logistical demands and the compressed, medley-style format simply did not align with the grand, narrative-driven vision she has for all her major live performances, ultimately leading her to make the difficult but deliberate decision to decline the historic offer. In the extra, off-the-cuff chat that was never intended for broadcast, Jimmy Fallon, with his characteristic playful curiosity, ran through a veritable list of the most persistent rumors swirling around the superstar. The conversation took a particularly intriguing turn when he broached the most prominent speculation of all, the claim that she had formally turned down a highly coveted invitation to headline the Super Bowl halftime show. This was not just any missed opportunity, it was the musical spectacle of the year, a gig that ultimately and quite fittingly went to the global Puerto Rican hitmaker Bad Bunny. By casually confirming this rumor in an unguarded moment, the superstar inadvertently revealed a monumental what could have been scenario for the world's biggest sporting event, suggesting that her team had indeed been in serious negotiations before she ultimately passed on the offer, a decision that reshaped the entire trajectory of that year's pop culture landscape. The whirlwind of speculation surrounding Taylor Swift's potential 2026 Super Bowl halftime performance, a theory initially sparked by her playful bread comment on the New Heights podcast and later amplified by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell's non-denial on Today, was ultimately put to rest not by an official press release, but by the superstar herself in a remarkably candid, unaired segment of The Tonight Show. After host Jimmy Fallon presented the rumor, Swift immediately shut it down with a definitive no, before launching into a nuanced explanation that peeled back the curtain on her personal life and artistic process. She revealed a direct conversation with Jay-Z, whose Rock Nation oversees the show, where she was able to be completely honest, telling him, "I am in love with a guy who does that sport on that actual field." She elaborated on the nerve-wracking reality of watching her fiancé, Travis Kelce, play, describing football as violent chess and explaining that she is so entirely locked in on his high-stakes world that the idea of simultaneously planning a halftime spectacle felt profoundly dissonant. She was quick to clarify that Kelce was fully supportive, but the mental conflict was hers alone. During the same wide-ranging, off-the-cuff conversation, Swift also addressed another viral rumor, that she had teasingly told her friend Selena Gomez, "Hey, you beat me to the altar," at Gomez's recent wedding to Benny Blanco. Her response to this piece of gossip was another firm and immediate no, effectively debunking a second tabloid narrative in one fell swoop and demonstrating her desire to reclaim the narrative around her own life, one unfounded rumor at a time. Taylor Swift is finally setting the record straight, revealing why she won't be performing at the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. The pop megastar, 35, appeared on the Monday, October 6 episode of The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon to promote her record-breaking new album The Life of a Showgirl, but it was an unaired segment that had everyone buzzing. The true reason Taylor Swift declined the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show was revealed not in a press release, but in a candid, unaired moment on The Tonight Show, where she provided a deeply personal explanation to host Jimmy Fallon. After a firm no shut down the rampant rumors, she detailed a truthful conversation with Jay-Z, whose Rock Nation oversees the event, confessing, "I am in love with a guy who does that sport on that actual field." She then painted a vivid picture of the nerve-wracking experience of watching fiancé Travis Kelce play, describing football as violent chess and gladiators without swords, stating that during the season she is entirely locked in on the dangerous and high-pressure world he inhabits. She was quick to clarify, however, that her decision was not about Kelce discouraging her, quite the opposite. "This has nothing to do with Travis, he would love for me to do it," she explained. "I'm just too locked in." For Swift, the mental and emotional focus required to be a supportive partner, fully invested in his athletic battles, was fundamentally at odds with the immense creative and logistical demands of crafting a halftime spectacle. The idea of simultaneously worrying about his safety on the very same field while rehearsing a medley of hits like Shake It Off and Cruel Summer created an irreconcilable conflict, making her choice a definitive act of prioritizing her personal life over the pinnacle of professional performance. In a whirlwind of record-breaking success and candid revelations, Taylor Swift's return to the public eye has been nothing short of monumental. Her highly anticipated album, The Life of a Showgirl, released at midnight on Friday, October 3, instantly cemented its place in music history, shattering Spotify's record for the most streamed album in a single day in 2025, a feat she celebrated on Instagram by writing, "I can't tell you how proud I am to share this with you, an album that just feels so right, while thanking her longtime collaborators Max Martin and Shellback. This professional triumph was followed by her first Tonight Show appearance since the Midnights era, where an unaired segment became the true headline. In it, she systematically debunked two major rumors. First, she firmly declined the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show, explaining that her focus is entirely locked in on supporting her fiancé, Travis Kelce, in his dangerous career on that very field, a decision she had honestly explained to Jay-Z. Second, she warmly dismissed the fabricated story about teasing Selena Gomez at her wedding, replacing it with a genuine tribute to her friend's beauty as a bride. Through it all, Swift masterfully balanced the colossal achievement of a record-shattering album with a fierce, personal reclaiming of her own narrative. The speculation that Taylor Swift was destined for the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show became an unstoppable force, fueled by a perfect storm of fan detective work and high-profile teasing. Followers of the pop titan had become utterly convinced after she joked on the August 13 New Heights podcast that she thinks about bread 60% of the time, interpreting it as a cryptic wink to Sourdough Sam, the mascot of Levi's Stadium, the scheduled venue for the big game. This theory gained immense credibility when NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell fanned the flames during an appearance on Today, playfully suggesting that Swift would maybe headline the show, a comment that sent media cycles and fan forums into a frenzy. However, the collective dream was definitively dashed on September 28, when it was officially confirmed that Puerto Rican global sensation Bad Bunny would instead take the stage for the Apple Music Super Bowl 60 halftime show. This official announcement set the stage for Swift's own clarifying revelation on The Tonight Show, where, in an unaired segment, she shut down the rumors with a firm no before launching into a deeply personal explanation. She detailed a truthful conversation with Jay-Z, confessing that her engagement to NFL star Travis Kelce made the prospect untenable, as she is too emotionally locked in on the violent chess of his dangerous career to share that same field for a performance. In the end, the saga revealed less about a missed performance and more about the intense scrutiny she navigates, where a joke about bread and an offhand comment from a commissioner can ignite a firestorm, ultimately leading her to publicly choose the quiet support of her partner's arena over the glare of the world's biggest stage. The swirling rumors that Taylor Swift was secretly slated for the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show reached a fever pitch based on the kind of cryptic breadcrumb, quite literally, that her fans are famous for decoding. Followers of the pop titan had become utterly convinced she was teasing the appearance after a seemingly innocuous comment she made during the August 13 episode of the New Heights podcast, where she joked that she thinks about bread 60% of the time. To the Swiftie community, this was far from a random quip, it was a potential wink at Sourdough Sam, the official mascot of Levi's Stadium, the very venue slated to host the 2026 game. This theory provided a tantalizing backdrop for her subsequent appearance on The Tonight Show, where the truth was finally revealed in an unaired segment. After host Jimmy Fallon presented the rumor, Swift immediately shut it down with a definitive no, but then launched into a surprisingly detailed and personal explanation that even involved a candid conversation with Jay-Z, whose Rock Nation oversees the halftime show. She confessed to Fallon that she was able to tell Jay-Z the honest truth: "I am in love with a guy who does that sport on that actual field." Elaborating further, she described the nerve-wracking experience of watching fiancé Travis Kelce play his physically demanding sport, which she called violent chess, emphasizing that during the season, she is completely locked in on his safety and performance. She was quick to clarify that her decision was not about Kelce discouraging her, quite the opposite. "This is nothing to do with Travis, he would love for me to do it. I'm just too locked in," she explained, highlighting the irreconcilable conflict she felt between the intense focus required to support her future husband on the field and the monumental creative task of orchestrating a global halftime spectacle. Ultimately, the bread punchline led not to a stadium performance, but to a much more intimate revelation about the complex interplay between love, career, and personal sacrifice at the highest levels of fame. Amid the seismic success of her record-shattering album The Life of a Showgirl, which upon its October 3 release promptly demolished Spotify's record for the most streamed album in a single day, Taylor Swift took a moment of public victory to pivot into a season of startling personal transparency. In a heartfelt Instagram post, she extended a forever thank you to her mentors and friends, Max Martin and Shellback, for helping me paint this self-portrait, before hinting at deeper revelations with the tantalizing tease, "If you thought the big show was wild, perhaps you should come and take a look behind the curtain." This invitation was powerfully fulfilled during her first Tonight Show appearance since 2022, where an unaired segment saw her pull back that very curtain. There, she firmly debunked the rampant Super Bowl halftime rumors by explaining that her emotional investment in fiancé Travis Kelce's violent chess of a career made it impossible for her to share that stage, a truth she had already shared with Jay-Z. In the same breath, she replaced a viral fabrication about teasing Selena Gomez at her wedding with a moving, genuine tribute to her friend's beauty, transforming a promotional cycle into a masterful reclamation of her own narrative, proving that the most compelling show exists not just in the spotlight, but in the honest, complex life happening just behind it.